Hi, everyone, and welcome to a fresh new episode of our Made for YouTube series. I'm Sumera Abdi. So, you know that every once in a while we take a break from mutual funds to discuss other topics or areas of interest to our viewers. And, anybody who's an investor also knows that credit scores are important. So, today we have a very, very interesting guest joining in to talk about something which has quite a wide appeal and which is your credit score, and not just understanding credit score, but actually how you can hope to improve it. So joining me now is Aparna Ramchandra, who's the founder and director of rectifycredit.com. Aparna, thank you so much for your time today, and for really discussing a topic which is going to impact so many people. So, first and foremost, there might be a lot of people who have joined in who perhaps are not too familiar with credit score. So let's start by first understanding what exactly is a credit score, how do you find out what's your score, etc. What are the very basics?
Thanks, Samara. I'm actually very pleased that on an investor show, people are already talking about credit score. It's high time because we've been talking about this for a while now. And let's start with the basics, like you said. Now, before even we get into the nuts and bolts of the story. So, what exactly is a credit score? So, a credit score basically tells about the credit worthiness of an individual, which means what? How much loan can he take? How much debt can he raise? And where is he as of today compared to his previous debts? Okay, if I have to simplify what is a credit score, this is a credit score. So credit score tells me the credit worthiness of the individual or the corporate, if we are looking at that. So having understood that, so what does a credit score include? So credit score does not include your savings account, it does not include your insurance, it does not include your mutual funds, so your investments. So it is not talking about the investment side of the story, the asset side of the story. It is talking about the debt side of the story. So which means what? It includes all the loans that you've taken, all the credit cards that you have, and all kinds of loans. So whether they have been closed, they are still ongoing, or they are about to be closed. So that entire gamut of loans that you've taken is part of your credit history, your credit profile, and what you see that in your credit report. So a credit report will have old loans that you have taken, closed, done and dusted. It will have your ongoing loans. It will also have a list of loans or credit cards that you had ever applied for. Whether they got approved or not is a separate story, but you had inquired about it, you had applied for it. So all of this is part of your credit report, right? So coming back to what all is included, is your basic information, your name, email ID, mobile number, address, and all of that. And they usually try and keep a record of last 3 or 4 addresses that you have been submitting to the bank. So basically, this data comes from the banks where you have had a relationship. So credit bureaus on their own don't go looking around for information for you. It is only your lenders, whatever data they submit to the bureau is what bureau puts it in a particular format and gives it to you. So a lot of people have this misinformation that say credit bureaus, XYZ, Sibyl or CRIF, IMAC or Experian, they have messed up my life, and I am in trouble because of Sibyl. So let me clarify once again: the bureau does not do anything on its own. The bureau just behaves, decides on its algo basis the data that your lenders give about you. So if there is any issue in your credit report, you need to go back to your lender, sort the issue first with the lender, then come to the bureau for the updation. So that is what is basis of a credit report.
Okay, so understood the very basic. Now, naturally, scores will be good or bad depending on whether you're servicing the loan or you have an excessive requirement of credit or loan or whatever. Is it in theory and practice possible to improve the score?
Yes, it is. See, a credit score is an algo, right? So it is a dynamic algo. So it does not mean that if you've defaulted once, it's like a criminal offense that you are forever an offender. So it doesn't work like that. So the whole system is dynamic, which means what? If you are beginning to improve yourself, you begin to rectify your credit profile, the system rewards you with a better credit score, a better credit profile. Having reached there, if you goof up again, you again come down. So this is an ongoing process. So that's why if you check your credit profile, your credit score, say over a period of 3 years, and where you've taken loans, repaid them, not paid them, or you've always paid them, either ways, so there you will see that there is a change in the score. So it is not going to remain stagnant, which is why, so for example, even if somebody is taken loan, they have paid everything on time, is a very good borrower. At the time of you taking that big loan, say for example you've taken a 1 cr home loan, so if you check your credit score then 3 months later, and then you continue to pay and then check 2 years later, you will see a slight change in your credit score, because it depends on how much leverage you are, what kind of loans you've taken, and all of that. So to answer your question in one single word, yes, it is possible. Yes, it is possible to improve your credit score. Now, if see, there are individuals, we are all dealing with human beings, there are situations which are beyond our control, there are sometimes scenarios which we are kind of forced to face. Circumstances are adverse, especially the last 2 years where all of us have dealt with something which we had never even dreamt of. So there are situations where one has gotten into a mess, but there is always a way forward. You can improve your credit profile, you can work on your credit.
Okay, so Aparna, this is just an automated process that, if I repay my loan, my credit score improves, or can I actively work to improve it? I mean, is it just this repayment that improves the score?
It is not very simple like 2 plus 2 is 4. Now if you have defaulted, say for example you've done some defaults in the past, you've made some late payments in the past, you've done some settlements in the past, there have been some loans which you have not been able to pay at all, so there are written offs on your profile. So all of these automatically, if you decide one fine day that now I'm going to start paying, it does not happen on its own. There has to be some action that needs to be taken. Now for example, say for a lot of people in early 2000s, or late 2007 8, where there was a downturn in the market, and people lost jobs, there are a lot of credit card defaults that happened then. And initially in 2000s, lot of people in India didn't know that they had to pay the whole credit card bill. People always paid only the minimum amount, and they thought they were getting away with not making the payment. So those are people who ended up getting reported as defaulters, because there was a lot of outstanding due, and there was no PAN card then, and mobile numbers were not there, so people moved addresses, lenders couldn't contact them. So there's the whole thing that has happened then. So from there to now, banks obviously, because of the banking norms, Basel norms, they don't sit on these bad assets on their balance sheet forever. So what they do, they bundle up their bad assets and they sell that to a third party. So there may be an ARC which has your portfolio, there may be some other agency that has your portfolio. So one needs to go make that effort, connect to them, figure out what is happening, and then move forward. So it is not very simple, yet it is not something which is impossible, if I can put it like that.
Okay, so I will wholeheartedly agree, because I must admit that when I was in college, I had misused my credit card too. And since then, I've actually never owned a credit card, which is why this topic interests me so much, because I just cannot understand the abuse of credit cards that repeatedly goes on around me, right? Um, Therefore, does somebody like me need to bother about improving their credit score? I mean, under what circumstances does a person need to work on improving their credit? I mean, is it only if you're looking to take a further loan down the road?
That's a brilliant question. Sumera, to start with, first go and apply for a credit card. Credit card does wonders to your credit profile. So it's a very good monkey to have in your wallet, and it's an essential monkey to have in your wallet, if you ask me. Now, now, if you to answer your question, first is people like, suppose someone like you who's messed up in the past, but then after that they have just not had a credit card. My advice always is to have at least one credit card in your wallet, because see, you one just needs to be responsible and careful with the card. That's about it. You now tomorrow you cannot say, I always tell people that you cannot say, every time I touch alcohol I have to get drunk. It doesn't work like that. You can always enjoy a glass of wine and leave it at that. So you need not say, each time I start with a glass of wine, I have to finish the whole bottle. It doesn't work. That's not needed, right? So one can just enjoy a glass of wine. So credit card is like that. Keep the credit card, because two things happen. Because it's an unsecured product on your profile, it does wonders to your credit profile. If you are someone that who's even just spending 25,000 month on month but is paying that credit card on time, the lender looks at you very differently. He's very impressed with your credit profile. And say someone has been having a credit card for the last 10 to 12 years, there's an history there, and there's a very good clean history with a credit card. I am mightily impressed as a new lender, because I know that if you've been so careful with your unsecured product, you're definitely going to be very good with your secured product. So that's how I will look at it. Now, to answer your question, my advice is always like a health checkup, like an annual health checkup. Look at your credit profile, credit score, credit report once in a year. Don't look at it when you are about to be buying a home loan, or you're about to be signing up for a taking a car loan, because if there is any goof up, it is late then to, because you will get rejected. So I always tell even the financial planning community, the investor community, that as a habit, when you do your review to your clients as well, check their credit profiles once in a year, so that, even if you are planning for a second home, you are planning for their children's education, you're planning for their retirement home or income, whatever. See, the best part is, in that community, you have time on hand. So if your client has also messed up his credit card, say when he was in college, or he didn't know about it, or he's completely ignorant about it, if you figure that out now, you have time to rectify it, you have time to sort him out, so that when he's ready with his investment, which is maybe like a down payment for a home loan that he's going to take, you know that his credit profile is good and his loans are not going to get rejected. So even if you are otherwise, even if you're not looking for a loan, it is a good practice to check your credit report once in a year for three things. One is, where you stand. Second is, whether all your lenders, they have been reporting right information about you. Number three, if there is any wrong information on your credit profile, you are aware about it and you have time to get that rectified. So it is a good practice to pull out your credit report once in a year.
Yeah. Aparna, actually, it's funny, but I remember reading a matrimonial ad which had mentioned the credit score. So, I can imagine that it's useful in all walks of life, right? And I believe even employers these days are checking credit scores. But
So, Mera, I have been crying horse from rooftop for the last 10 years in India that matrimonial companies need to provide this service to their, at least their premium users. Because imagine you like a boy or a girl for your child, I mean your daughter or son, and then you figure out that the other person is just has maxed out his credit cards, he's in a complete mess. He can't even buy a holiday ticket with his credit card because there is no credit card. You don't want to be in such a scenario. So it is always good to check a credit purpose. And trust me, a credit report tells a lot of things about the person. So, when you sit and study a credit report, there are instances where we have found out that people were going through a very ugly divorce, people were going through extramarital affairs, people had there were people who had other kind of property issues. So all those stories, if you have
Wow.
the patience, you can really read between the lines and figure that out in a credit report. It tells a lot about the person.
Okay, so perhaps a lot of these matrimonial sites. I hope they're listening to this. But just one final question, Aparna, which is that I mean, obviously, a specialized service exists like yourself, rectifycredit.com. So, therefore, is it something for which you need professional help, this improving your credit score, or can a person do it by themselves?
If it is a very simple thing that, say for example, it's an ongoing, now for example, now in the pandemic, last 3 months you couldn't pay something, and now you decide that things are fine and I can go and repay, and it's an ongoing credit card or a loan. It's very simple. You can just walk into your branch, talk to them, and then move forward. So you don't need to hire a professional like us for that. Where you will need our services is if these defaults are older, and these are more complicated. There is some kind of a suit file status, or there is something where a lot of companies in banks in India sell your assets to ARCs. Now all ARCs are not easily reachable at times. There are smaller ARCs which are not very out there, where you can have they have a website for you, they have a customer, they don't have, because they are smaller in size and capacity. So in such kind of scenarios, and thirdly, sometimes what happens is, say for example, you've paid, this is a very very typical scenario that happens. You've made the down payment to the builder, and then you walk into the bank and say, here is a home loan, and this is a property, this is an approved property, and I need loan for that, and I'm earning good, my ITR is there, bank statement is there, all is good, so I'm very comfortable and confident that this loan is going to get approved. And maybe I have a spouse also who's earning and whose papers are there, so all is hunky dory. And I mean, lo behold, the banker doesn't talk to you after 3 4 days, and then you are chasing, and then somebody picks up the phone and says, no, your loan is rejected, and then you don't know why. And you ask the banker, and he says, no, I see a old credit card that is settled, okay, and I can't. I mean, that's why your loan is rejected. Now he doesn't know which bank this is. He doesn't know which credit card this is, because as per the RBI norm and the SICRA Act, under which all these credit information companies we all fall under, the lender, now for to explain it in a very simple manner, if you have gone to ICICI Bank for this loan, the ICICI Bank report has to only talk about your old ICICI relationships. The rest of the accounts, the rest of the loans, they only come to know whether you've taken gold loan, whether you've taken personal loan, or whether you've taken a credit card. They are not supposed to know whether it is HDFC, whether it is SBI, or whether it is Axis, for example. So then what happens? The banker outright rejects, and he has no time to sit and figure out where, what, how. So he just rejects your proposal and he moves forward. So what happens? You as a borrower, there is an inquiry against your report saying that Miss XYZ had gone and applied for a 80 lakh home loan to ICICI, and correspondingly that got rejected. So what happens? You can't go back to ICICI for the next 6 months. When you go back next to HDFC, the HDFC guy is first going to see that you've already been rejected in ICICI. So he's going to figure out, why did you get rejected? And then you are going to say, this seems to be a credit card and I don't know about it. So this is where scenarios like this is where you need professional help, because we will do the whole legwork for you. get this whole sorted for you, so that there is a very clean and clear before and after story, and that after story is for good. So it means what? Today, if we have gotten your old credit card sorted, this is sorted for life. It's not going to come back after 6 months, 5 months, nothing. It is going to be sorted once for all. So from now on, whenever anybody checks your credit report, your previous credit card is always going to be looking as sorted. Now, in this same breath, I would like to add one more point for all your viewers to know. There is lot of misinformation in the market that something which is bad, an adverse remark on your credit profile, or a old settlement or a old default, people are told that it is there only for 7 years and then it gets all clean. Please, 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 it is completely false. Nothing like that happens. It depends on how old, how vintage is the data that your lender has for you, and since when they have started to submit for you. Which means what? In some cases where banks like Citibanks and HSBC, because they were the initial ones to start submitting data, we see credit card details from as early as 1998 getting still reflected in the credit report. So nothing gets erased, and it should not get erased, because the larger is the vintage, the more older you are as a borrower, more confident I am about you when I'm giving you a new loan. So it is good to know that you've been very good for the last 20 years, you've been very good for the last 18 years, you've never defaulted, and you've taken different kinds of loans, and you have a very diverse portfolio, and you've been very responsible throughout. So all of that adds up. So it is good that this old data is still there and it continues to be there.
Got it. Aparna, thank you so much. It was absolutely fabulous listening to you. And, I'm sure, I mean, me included, everyone's going to benefit from what seems like very common sense advice, but it is stuff that perhaps we have just never thought about. And maybe we needed you to just point us in the right direction. So thank you very, very much for doing this.
Thanks you. Thank you.
All right, guys, we've come to the end of this episode. I hope you liked it. Do send in your questions and comments and also any suggestions for future topics. Thanks for watching. Take